everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm naming this the House of Nerdy, and today we're going to be going over the fact that Venom has now been officially delayed, and Spider-Man No Way Home could possibly be facing delay. So let's get into it. Now, starting off, I want to talk about why I think Venom could face further delays, and the real possibility. In fact, it seems like that's actually pretty likely, and that's just off the fact that Sony is pretty aggressive in delaying their films, and they want their films in theaters, and they don't want dual release schedules at all. And how it just things in the world have been going with the pandemic and such, and the new variants. We don't really know how many people are out there trying to go to theaters, and movies aren't really performing that well in theaters as recently. So it's very possible that in the data and what Sony's seeing, that they could delay Venom further. And there's also two other premiere films that are coming out. The Last Duel with Keanu Reeves and Halloween: The Last Kill are also coming out that same day. And if things don't really see an upturn and we don't see more positive signs in the world, and people going out and going to theaters more, I don't know how Sony doesn't delay it further, based on what they've done, what they've said, and what they've done in the past. And up to this point, they've been pretty consistent, and they want their films to have the best chance in theaters, to make as much money as possible in theaters. They want the theaters to be the experience, and I don't see that this year being a real possibility for films to, except for Spider-Man No Way Home, which we'll get into later, because of just the sheer intrigue of it. But Venom doesn't have that. Venom is intriguing to comic book fans, but I don't know how intriguing is normies. People like the first one, but it still didn't make $1 billion, right? And I think they want the second one to be $1 billion type film. They introducing Carnage. They got Andy Serkis. They spent more money on it. It's a different level. Like, that was more low budget, low risk, but they still wanted it to succeed. This, I think they really want it to be a big film and stand on its own. And it may have a Spider-Man little teaser at the end, but I really do think it's going to mostly be Venom versus Carnage, and really exploring Venom more and Tom Hardy's Venom. And there have been recent reports of articles talking about how invested Tom Hardy is into the Venom character, and Sony, and him having like producer credits, and him being like really active with the Venom character. And I just think they want Venom to have the best chance to succeed as much as possible, and I don't think this year that is the case, because I think films like Shang-Chi and Eternals can really suffer this year, especially Shang-Chi, because it's coming out pretty soon, and Eternals is coming out pretty late in the year. But Shang-Chi could really suffer, because I don't see the hype level, because all you see is like Shang-Chi marketing. That's all Disney is pushing. That's all Marvel Studios is really pushing. But the only thing people are really excited for is the Abomination scene. That's the only thing people have real hype for. I don't see people getting hyped for the movie and the plot points and really caring, because it looks like a phase 2 movie, maybe beginning phase 3, and it looks a little out of place, because it was supposed to come out a year ago. So if they delay Venom, it could suffer from that. But I don't know what they're gonna. But it seems like what they're gonna do is delay it until they feel comfortable with it making the money, or having the possibility to make the money that they think it should make. Now, going on to the Spider-Man No Way Home side of things, this movie is different, because off intrigue alone, it could easily pull in $1 billion, even with the current circumstances. If the only way this is in theaters, then people are going to go to the theaters for this type of film. It's just what's going to happen, because normies all love all three of the Spider-Man, and it's almost guaranteed that they're going to be in there. And if you don't, there's a whole bunch of just fans of Marvel films and stuff like that, like we know Doc Ock is going to be in there. We know Jamie Foxx is going to be in there. We know it's going to have multiverse elements. We know Doctor Strange is going to be in there. It's also rumored that Daredevil is going to be in there. Well, Matt Murdock. So those things alone can, and Tom Holland Spider-Man is very popular. So these things alone can propel this film to a upper echelon status and put it in that $1 billion category pretty easily. But does Sony want it to make $2 billion? Do they want it to outperform Far From Home? Do they want it to just be able to make as much money as it can possibly? If those are the things that they're thinking, then they might be thinking like delaying Spider-Man No Way Home is the best option. And I personally think doing a dual release schedule would be the best thing for Sony and Disney themselves. But maybe the best thing for people who like theaters and stuff, like, and like the theater experience, that would be best for them to just have it, just delay it, put theaters. But there are people that want to see this film that have no problem watching it on streaming and would actually prefer watching it at home. I don't want to call it minority. I would say, I'm going to be generous, say 50-50, but a lot of people like the convenience of streaming. And I think there's a lot smaller amount of people that like the theater experience specifically and only want that. I think the dual release schedule gives you the option of both, and the people that want to go to theater will go to theater, people that see it at home see it at home. And I think more companies should embrace that. And the longer somebody doesn't embrace that, I think they'll probably lose more money in the long run. Because I don't know, I guess Spider-Man No Way Home can be delayed and still retain its hype level. I guess you would say like intrigue, and like people will still go see it because, like I said, just of what's in the film itself, like just off the things we know, and the fact it's in the MCU, and it's somehow like there's just a lot of factors there. It just has a lot for it. Venom doesn't have that. It has Venom and Carnage and Andy Serkis, but that's not like, those aren't things that bring big swaths of people just to go see your film. Like, people liked Venom, but like people liked Black Widow, and her movie didn't make that much. You know what I mean? Like people don't want to go to theaters as much. That's just what we have seen clearly. And I think theater, like certain companies like Disney, Bob Chapek, he's gonna be the evil guy, and he's gonna do this he wants to do this dual release schedule. I don't know if he's gonna push. He said, think recently, that he's not gonna do it for Shang-Chi, but if Shang-Chi doesn't make money, he might do it for Eternals, and he might push Sony to try to do it for Spider-Man No Way Home, because it makes sense for the companies to do. And people, and they're like, the consumers want, like, people like they make a lot of money because people buy it, and for families it's honestly cheaper than the theaters. So there are a lot of factors there, and I think those are the things that are playing into Sony's decision making on delaying Venom and probably delaying it further based on what they've said, and the real possibility of them delaying Spider-Man No Way Home. I hope they don't, but it seems very possible. But just please, let's hope that they don't. Let's hope that we get that movie at the end of the year, and I'll be satisfied. But if you agree or disagree, leave your opinions down below. Goodbye.